Hello, everybody out there. So, I am out of surgery, obviously. I'm just trying to get everything adjusted. Um, so, I am on day 4 of recovery, and my surgery went great. Um, so, they were able to spare my valve, or valve sparing is what they call it. And um, what else? And they just replaced my aortic root, which means I never have to come in to do this again. Thank God. Um, I mean, really, that's the biggest thing, and you'll never know until you have to have the surgery and they go in. So, let's say you have an aortic aneurysm, you may very well need a root, or I'm sorry, a valve. A little punchy from all the drugs, so just bear with me today. But yeah, so anyway, surgery went great. It was about 6 or 7 hours, pretty intense in terms of going into the surgery. I did get hit with a little bit of Adabol or Advatin or something like that to relax me as soon as I got to the hospital, and then they gave me some medicine right after I got checked in to calm me down even more because I was super nervous. Just the thought of them ripping my chest open kept on kind of driving me crazy. Surgery went well. 6, 7 hours. My wife was able to come in right afterwards. I was still asleep right after the surgery, so I checked in at 5. Literally was on the surgical table by 7. By 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, again, I can't do my math right now, but right after the surgery, they pulled me out in recovery. They let her come back to see me, and I still had the breathing tube and everything else. Then they sent her away for a little bit, and about 4 hours after that, they came in and they pulled my breathing tube out. So that was awesome because I didn't want to wake up with that thing in ICU. So they pulled the breathing tube out. I was pretty stable on my own breathing. So I got out, and then they brought my wife back again in the ICU, and kind of rude to her. I don't know, the nurse was just being really super rude to her and saying she had to leave, but she didn't. All the other nurses the next day said she could have stayed. But anyways, I was like in and out of it, and literally for, most of that night I was in and out of it. But it is important to have an advocate there with you. My first night in ICU was horrible. The nurse and I got into it a little bit. I went from, I believe it was 1 a.m. in the morning, so my surgery was at 7, recovery and everything. I was doing fine. From 1 till about 4, she wouldn't answer my calls or come into my room. And so around 4, I waited patiently because I was up the whole entire time from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. I called her into my room and I had a little intervention with her. And I'm like, hey, what is going on? Why am I not getting my pain meds? And she said that I was snoring on my CPAP machine, in which I explained to her that I snore all the time with my CPAP machine. But she said that she was thinking that I was over-medicated or something. But just to prove my point, my mom called the next morning and talked to the same nurse and said, how did he do last night? And the nurse told her, my mother, that I had a horrible night and that I couldn't communicate my pain level, which is total BS, but whatever. Good to have an advocate, good to have somebody on, and I'll write a letter later because I'm an articulate human being and I don't, I'm a very professional person in my work life and professional life, and so that's going to be addressed later. And then it's nice to have a loved one in your room after the surgery, because the nurses will take liberty on their own that they've become this expert all of a sudden on whether or not you've gone pee or not. I had one nurse on the night shift literally forcing me to drink apple juice until I was ready to explode, which I'd already told her I wouldn't pee before the other shift ended, and she could look on the chart that I peed, but she was convinced I needed to pee, and she literally brought in a ultrasound and measured my fluids in my bladder. So that's how crazy that was, and literally I said, just go away. And I think sometimes my point is you have to be firm with these people. They are here to help you, but you also know your body pretty well too. So just keep that in mind. And I think if you had somebody here with you, you know, they can certainly, because you're in and out of like a lot of the narcotics and stuff. So it's nice to have somebody there to kind of advocate for you. The other thing is the pain medicine. Like, I wasn't taking a lot of pain medicine, and my nurses were telling me to, my doctors were telling me to, and I kind of feel like, yeah, I was doing okay without it, but I just ended up compromising and just doing it whenever they have it scheduled. So don't try to figure that one out. I literally, I didn't want to be on a whole lot of the pain meds that I was on, but they kind of kept forcing it on me. Okay, quick, because I want to keep these under 10 minutes, but walking is a big thing, although I overdid it the first day. So, you know, what's overdoing it? I don't know. I had my son here the first day at a recovery. I spent one day in ICU, and then I moved out of ICU into my regular room. And that's the day my son came over. So I went for a walk. I felt really good. I wasn't on any pain meds. And then I did get some before he came. And I think for my son, I wanted to be really up spirit. And I probably put on a show maybe more than I needed to. I just knew he was nervous, so I didn't want to scare him. Don't do that. Just, you know, you are what you are. And I should have just really relaxed that day. And then my mom and sister came, and I was up for them. And when I say up, I mean like entertaining them and trying to make them feel comfortable, because everybody's kind of uncomfortable and scared for you. So I'm that type of person where I don't want anybody being scared or uncomfortable. But yeah, so that's kind of been how it's going. I'm on day 4. Chest tubes came out 2 days later. And then my temporary pacemaker came out yesterday, so 3 days. So today is my day 4 after surgery. So literally I had everything. The neck, as you can see, the vampire, I don't know if you can see it, the vampire bites, that was pulled out the very next day after surgery. You can't see it now because I'm wearing my watch. The catheter in my arm was pulled out the very next day after surgery. My catheter for urinating was pulled out the day of after surgery. And then you can see they uncovered my scar. And believe it or not, it's not bad. It's only like 5 inches, I think. It's puffy in this area, and it will be for a while. And the reason why is the muscles kind of tend to bunch up there, but it will flatten out is what everybody's told me, which is kind of cool. So yeah, that's my update. I'm doing pretty good. I feel good today. I'm going to take like a sponge bath here in a little bit. That'll make you feel much better. I did bring a laptop, so I've been binge watching Netflix. That helps out in the hospital. And then sleeping pills. That's the one thing I would highly recommend, because, you know, my first nights, I didn't sleep more than an hour. I was just up constantly, and you're freaking out about bells and alarms that are going off. So I took a sleeping pill 2 nights ago, and then every night since then. And last night I got like an amazing night of sleep. So highly recommend the sleeping medicine, because that's pretty tough. And I'm going to try to get a prescription when I go home to take with me. So that's it. I'm going to do, I get supposedly released tomorrow. So I'm going to hopefully post when I get home. I'm sure I'll be super tired. And we'll go from there. All right. Thanks for watching.